Chapter 3603. Although his main purpose for coming out this time was to see Lin Yi make a fool of himself, since he had promised to help Kong Mingming build connections, he naturally had to introduce a few high-level people to them. As for low-level managers like Dai Wuchang, if he hadn't happened to meet them just now, he wouldn't have bothered to care about them. Then, take care, young Master Su and junior brothers. Dai Wuchang hesitated for a moment, and finally had to send them off respectfully. He originally wanted to remind Su Lingchong not to be happy so early. After all, he knew that Lin Yi dug out 8 pieces of good jade yesterday, which made Meng Zhuguang and the others who were ready to see him make a fool of himself. Maybe this young Master Su would repeat the same mistake. But thinking about it, in a dead mining area like 10th, it was already a miracle that he was able to dig up 8 pieces of good jade yesterday. He couldn't possibly be that lucky today, could he? It wasn't like he was the legendary child of fortune. Therefore, in the end, Dai Wuchang held back his words, in case his reminder didn't come true, and deliberately spoiled the mood, leaving a stain in young Master Su's heart. In the blink of an eye, the sky turned dark, and the melodious bell rang throughout the major mining areas. It was time to hand over the work. In each mining tunnel, people came out one after another. Chapter 3608. They were first weighed and then inspected. Thank you, senior brothers, after going through this never-changing handover process. I can't thank you enough, one after another. Lin Yi thought for a while, they had been decided to tell them what had happened in the past few days. Even if they could hold on physically, they would find out still a little tired mentally. Then you should understand, even if they went back to the cave residence to meditate, exchanging mining areas would be a big, but even though I was assigned to number 10 it's not something that can be done by trouble by Meng Zhuguang. It requires Chapter 36 that if he didn't tell you the truth, as Lin Yi turned around and left, so it's not obvious to him. Although he was disgraced, he dug up the faces were all mentally calmed down. Absolutely didn't get it again. Even if they still had that situation, he didn't mind losing. It was all the men had explored the number this bastard would fall in the century about whole land miserable. It was truly intolerable. Good jade, moral extravagance, they had tolerate. It would be lovely if they could dig up 10 favors. He would revenge himself. However, after clarifying the other part, in order to avoid this, especially when asked about the other, this was a top-notch Meng dared to ask then Meng Zhuguang liked this highly situated place. He could only also afraid suddenly brothers he has a feeling of a dying managed to get the newcomer has now figured out Su Lingchong. However, although necessary, wouldn't he be more popular if we don't have the brother mining there's a way about a rare kind of quality happy. Although it was young magic experience, he just waits and enjoys the unfortunate expression. Lin Yi said he was still uncertain whether he would continue to steal. He wouldn't tell the originally young master that Meng Zhuguang said that it was a high quality. This kind of dead mining like this on water dead mining just to get the other house
But they did not assume from the fine should know that these two men is how to show the
and also forget while that ninth cousin he was willing because of young master so many good Jays like also lied on scavenging. Not only that, Lin had only spiritual eldest senior brother just said he did not want it. Eldest senior brother still let go in the past and changed the mining area for him to the south line. This is simply returning good for you. As a matter of fact, back to the cave he expected. Meng Juiguang's sudden reaction really with chapter 3607. He shouted, just like what Lin had said to Lin finally understood. That's a big step. Based on the situation final day class to take the opportunity to had already taken another 5 of the high-quality mining area. I've heard of the every day, and every day as expected of them used to be especially a high probability of producing good farmers when it was time to make no one quality. This mining area completely digressed the 7th mining area and placed a piece of good factor for a senior brother like Meng. He was out of Lin charge, obviously up a Meng Tong then suspected Jiang was nothing to make Lin glanced at it, but after hearing about Lin, this was the Meng shook his head and said, that's true, but the guys that this was the guy in order to not let him go Bodyguard with young Master Su, although this chain production but only shows mining area was not as long as he signed, but if Lin he went back on his word, he was not the contract no matter what mining area. When the blue cloud pavilion is exchanging into the 7th mining area and he still won't agree. This act is quite decent. However, it was different in this dead mining area. Although the clear cloud pavilion connection system directly signed the cloud, it was absolutely that it had the only then did Meng had with 7th dead mining area. He did not have any idea about the place for several lives. Purely in that case, then how could there be any reason to refuse? But if he found a mining area on the Meng carried a heavy bag to 25 mining area, the significance would not so he turned around and laughed. As long as the operation was done well, Meng Juiguang was turned deaf confident that he could manage that place for 10 persons of still tried looked at each other and let out a laugh. As long as he had a lot of spirit, if someone wants to exchange it to the 7th mining area, you can only dig 6 or 7 pieces. The top priority was true that there unfortunately I brought so many waste jades in case of accident. So after Meng Juiguang's sudden arrived, it would really be hard to think that one asked the guards to exchange the bag and went straight to the mining area to Lin. He had always said weekly. He brought out what is because of yesterday's unforeseen event. What is Meng Juiguang? Although they had gathered the supervisor of the Walking Pavilion, I will tell you otherwise. They were mostly be so generous. Meng Juiguang's land, they were not on the same side as Meng Juiguang. Although Li Xingming was the first neutralizer, and now that after being still doesn't look like he has taken advantage of his guard far less than that of Meng. He is a downright responsible for providing the way he finds out that these are all had a natural and reliable relationship with Meng. How many pieces will have tomorrow? Secondly, Li Xingming said with a smile it had nothing to do. This circle of people gathered here the idea that there was no good jade, but in fact, but at they were always they felt like they were cheering for these two guards did not know that not only did they not wish to have ideas that to make a good jade, so even if there were a lot of them, if it was the energy added together like 1/10 of that exile on the other side of one would have to Laney return to the cave residence. He unexpectedly looked like this interview of Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong had already prepared a stage one by the senior brother. He originally thought that this was not the other found actually did not look Meng Juiguang's temperament, but he also found from the looks of it there was still a last bit of ambition. It was simply seen that his age and experience did not only still had a Meng Juiguang also quickly noticed the subtlety of this kind of sitting upright on the stone chair. Seeing the rookie's vaguely threatening spearhead, that person was like he could not help but still had this little bit of survival which he was somewhat from time to time and waved his arms and somewhat looking at this posture. He seemed to have the reality to interact with the young master like Ling Chong. After working hard these 25, he only managed to he could not give up such a great opportunity just because of a sentence from the other brother was also a very but then again only given his relationship if he wanted to he responded and walked forward to his man's finally story of searching for small Jays this was a matter of great importance never he had to subdue this bunch of ever since he deduced his yesterday was a great junior brother low spirit but it was destroyed by never otherwise. This is our Walking Pavilion. However, and today was another opportunity. He is also a fire, but he never wasted cloud punching such for his own. Why would he senior brother bitter if he did not refuse to Ling Chong's ridicule? The reason why this alleged condition was sitting to indefinitely Jay's point in front of this was exactly what he wanted. It was a matter of otherwise that the Jay would extract richly this was strong the other party's intentions. Meng Juiguang pavilion massacre. It was even more difficult quickly if he did not dig out any good Jade no matter what Allegedly,
than the beautiful
Lin
Lin
that
from
he
the
would go
previous
along with
Jade
the wishes of the rookies.
Not to mention smile picking up the other spare Jades for one.
Young
Junior
Master
brother
could
too
casually
cared
carry
about
Junior
brother
brother
Lin
Lin
is
and
not
he
someone
would
to
still
make
make
a
profit
profit
for him.
He could not be able to
able to
Lin
find
E
out
now was the
like
kind of
junior
superficial
brother
wish
Lin.
It is our
Or he
clear
allowed
clear
the
compared to
villain
working
fortune
hard every
Even
day
a
in the
guy
suddenly
like
flattered
Lin
forced to be
seemed
needle
to
brother
put on airs
Meng
as
Ju
a personally
Lin had the thought
Meng
early
Ju
waved his
plotted
two
to
guards
jab him
and
with
did
good
although he had
absolutely
not
help
helped
but taken
aback.
He still felt a little embarrassed.
These two were equivalent to Lin Yi's results after all. No matter how powerful he was in the second world, he did it if he was still a newcomer times. In contrast, in front of the matter of guards in the mining area was not worth mentioning. I'm not just saying
as
this
the supervisor of the welcoming
Lin Yi's
pavilion.
previous
Junior
jades
brothers
were not really dug out by current situation. They had never seen him with the space of the jade pendant. I have nothing to do all day. Today was really dig out good changes wherever to comfort myself. However, even if Meng Ju I have learned a little about the art of observing people as the senior in charge, whether it is appearance or temperament, Junior brother Lin, you are not an ordinary person. Even if he could occasionally dig out a few pieces of spiritual jade after working hard for half a day, Lin E they were either trash jades that were obvious at a glance, or waste jades that had thin spiritual chi. It wasn't because of the praise, but because he admired his calmness and open-mindedness in the face of this awkward situation. Even if he and Meng Tong did not give up and worked hard for a whole day, they still could not more or less have to maintain their high and mighty until the bell of the mining area rang a newcomer under the greeting of the two guards. At the very least, only then they would try to cover it up, and Meng Tong came to a stop with their faces covered in dirt. Was not only able to face it calmly, but even had the ability to laugh at himself. Looking at the basket filled with less than 30 pieces of waste jades, they got down to business. The two simply wanted to cry, the reason why the two of them were waiting for Lin E was actually Liu Bianren's idea. Lin E, that bastard, could dig out to see this amazing newcomer from the mortal world that his bitter senior brother spoke of. If it was the two of us, we worked hard for a whole day. They felt that it was necessary to find an opportunity to get a piece of good jade because they didn't have a good start today. This was way too freaking weird. Otherwise, you guys, if Lin E really gave up on himself must be because he was wasted in mine number 10 for 3 months, this is not the mine that Lin E was digging before, right? After listening to Senior Brother Ku suddenly narrate the situation of the two of them encountering Su Lingqiong flying into a rage out of humiliation. Besides being surprised, Lin E was also rather moved in his fright. In order to find a way to change the mind strength was originally above them, just based on the other party's wide network in the Spirit Jade Hall. They could not afford to offend this guy. The third pavilion master, the two hurriedly distanced themselves. With his current senior brother Meng, leaving the repent cliff to run around for him was not a small risk. Lin E was indeed digging for jade at this mine before. If great pavilion master Hu Yunfeng were to find out to you about, he would be charged with negligence of duty. If there is even half a word of falsehood, may the heavens strike us with lightning. This was tantamount to adding snow to snow. Meng Junior brother frowned at the two dubiously. Although Su Lingqiong's threat may not come true, speaking, for the sake of our blue cloud to have any reason to lie to him. I can't take this risk for you alone. Of course it's true. As a senior brother, and senior brother ashamed, you're also someone who has experienced it. Which mine points have been abandoned for a long time, and which senior brother have been mine also had an ashamed expression on his face that can be seen at a glance, deeply hating that he was powerless. Our number 10 mine area only had Lin E recently. You're exaggerating. The two guards going to my number 10 is my own choice. That's true. If you bring disaster to Blue Cloud then reluctantly believe the words of the two, then I will really feel uneasy. He began to doubt himself again. Lin E hurriedly waved his hand. Could it be that there is actually good jade in these spirit jades that were dug out today, but I just made a mistake? The same mine area, the same mine point, Lin E could dig out so much good jade in 2 consecutive days, but if it was him and Meng Tong, they could not even dig out a piece of good jade after working for a whole day in vain. Rather than believing such a ridiculous fact, Meng Juiguang would rather deceive himself and others and believe that he had made a mistake. Let's go and hand in the work. The more Meng Juiguang thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. Without a second word, he immediately called Meng Tong. They hurriedly set off on their return journey. The two of them passed through the long tunnel number 10. When they finally arrived at the handover site, they happened to meet Lin E, who had just come out of the tunnel number 7. Seeing the two of them sweating profusely, Lin E was slightly stunned, and then he greeted them with a faint smile. Damn, this guy can't be waiting here to make a fool of us, right? Thinking of what they had done 2 days ago, Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong's hearts suddenly skipped a beat. However, the two of them really misunderstood Lin E.
Although Lin Yi had long expected that Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong would not dig out any good jade, even so, he did not have the leisure to wait here and watch them make a fool of themselves. The reason why they met here was purely that Lin Yi wanted to observe the work and rest schedule of the guards in the 7th mine. Therefore, he deliberately stayed in the mine for a while. This was just a complete coincidence. However, as the saying goes, ex person ex heart. Even if it was really a coincidence, in the eyes of Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong, it was definitely a coincidence deliberately created by Lin Yi. This bastard was holding back his strength to see the two of them make a fool of themselves. However, even if the two of them held back their strength to not let Lin Yi see them make a fool of themselves, Lin Yi finally saw it, as expected. There was nothing much to say about the weighing. The key was the quality inspection result: Meng Tong, 0 good jade, 27 pieces of waste jade. This sentence completely sentenced their previous luck on the road to death. Both Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong's expressions suddenly became dull, and they did not come back to their senses for a long time. Hee. To be able to dig out 27 pieces of waste jade in the 10th mine, the harvest is not bad. Congratulations. At the side, Lin Yi nodded and smiled faintly. In fact, he did not know that today, even Meng Juiguang personally went to the mine. According to the rhythm of his previous 2 days, which was less than 20 pieces of waste jade, Meng Tong's 27 pieces were indeed not bad. Therefore, his blessings were really from the heart. Chapter 36:15. What are you so proud of? You've only been lucky for 2 days. You won't be able to dig out any good jade in the future. Meng Tong couldn't help but say angrily. If it had always been in the 10th mine, then it would be hard to say. But now... Lin Yi raised his eyebrows. At this time, the quality inspector reported, Lin Yi, 7 pieces of good jade, 23 pieces of useless jade. Meng Tong couldn't help but feel suffocated. Even Meng Juiguang, who was next to him, looked at him with a speechless expression as if he was looking at an idiot. Meng Tong had already been transferred to the 7th mining area. How could he not dig up good jade? Saying such stupid words without thinking was simply asking for a slap in the face. Are the two of you going to continue working hard in the 10th mine tomorrow? Let me give you a friendly reminder, I've already taken all the luck from the 10th mine, and it'll be hard to get any good jade. Lin Yi said with a smile that wasn't quite a smile on his face. He turned around and left, ignoring the two. Fuck. This bastard's arrogance knows no bounds. Meng Tong looked at Lin Yi's back and gritted his teeth. What do you mean by taking away all the luck in the 10th mine? He's just a country bumpkin from the secular world, so what? Although Meng Juiguang was also furious, he forcefully suppressed his anger and said thoughtfully, what does this kid mean by saying that on purpose? Is he afraid that we'll continue to dig in the 10th mine and we'll dig out some good jade? Yes. That must be it. Meng Tong's eyes lit up when he heard that. He said excitedly, this guy must be afraid that we'll dig out some good jade. That's why he said that on purpose to make us retreat. 9th cousin is really smart. This bastard is too fucking cunning. It seems like that's the case. Even if it's a high-quality mine, it's normal to have a shortage of good jade. As long as we continue to dig tomorrow, we'll definitely dig out some good jade. Chapter 36:16. This time, it was Li Xingming who was stunned. Since when did Lin Yi become so docile and modest? According to his tough style of talking back to people like Su Lingchong and Meng Juiguang, it should be normal for him to find trouble with me at this time. Why did he become a coward without saying anything? However, despite his doubts, Li Xingming could not help but let out a sigh of relief. He had witnessed Lin Yi's strength on the first day he came to the Welcome Pavilion. He was able to defeat Meng Tong in one move, so he was definitely not easy to deal with. If Lin Yi really insisted on finding trouble with him, unless he was willing to be beaten into a pig's head, the fact that he had hidden his strength would be exposed. The loss outweighed the gain. Giving up the high-quality mining spot that Li Xingming had occupied, Lin Yi randomly found a slightly remote uninhabited mining spot. Although it was not in the corner, it did not attract as much attention as before. As long as he was a little careful, it would be enough to ensure a safe operation. However, just as Lin Yi was about to put down the basket, someone suddenly cut in line and rushed in front of him. He stared at Lin Yi with an unfriendly face and said, "Kid, this is the mining spot that I have my eyes on. Do you want to compete with me?" However, just as Lin Yi was about to put down the basket, someone suddenly cut in line and rushed in front of him. He stared at Lin Yi with an unfriendly face and said, "Kid, this is the mining spot that I have my eyes on. Do you want to compete with me?" Lin Yi frowned slightly. This person was one of the many former rookies who dug for jade in the 7th mining area. Because he deliberately observed the environment yesterday, Lin Yi had some impression of these unfamiliar faces. However, in his memory, this person was not at his current mining spot yesterday. However, Lin Yi soon found that something was wrong. Every time he walked to a mining spot, there would always be someone rushing in front of him. It should be known that in order to facilitate his operation, these mining spots were relatively remote mining spots with fewer people. And according to his observation yesterday, there was originally no one there. It felt as if everyone in the mining area was deliberately targeting him. Could it be that Meng Jueguang and his partner had sent someone to annoy him because they couldn't find any jade in the 10th mining area? Thinking about Li Xingming's previous actions, Lin Yi quickly guessed the whole story. These people really listened to Meng Jueguang's instructions, so they deliberately ganged up on him. Not only Li Xingming, but everyone else here was also Meng Jueguang's lackeys. Meng Jueguang was an experienced manager of the Welcome Pavilion. Not only this batch of newcomers like Lin Yi, even these previous batch of newcomers present all more or less bore his imprint. Moreover, he had extensive connections in the Spirit Jade Hall. These people would naturally do their utmost to curry favor with him in order to be able to get rid of these dark days as soon as possible. What's more, squeezing out Lin Yi was a completely trivial matter. Although in the mining area, there was no hard and fast rule that only one person could dig for jade in a mining area. Encountering this kind of situation where others snatched a mining area, even if Lin Yi couldn't directly stop it, he could also completely stay and not leave. In this way, the other party also couldn't do anything. It was impossible for them to rashly attack Lin Yi just to snatch a mining area. Under the watchful eyes of so many Foundation establishment stage guards, making a move without permission was simply courting death. He would be pinned with the charge of a mining riot. Even if he was killed on the spot, there was no way to explain it. But if he really shared a mining area with others, then it would be completely different from Lin Yi's original intention of hiding in peace. Not only would the efficiency of digging jade be inevitably affected, but more importantly, this was equivalent to having one more person closely monitoring him. Lin Yi simply couldn't think of stealing any spirit jade anymore. So facing this kind of situation, Lin Yi went against his previous strong attitude, and actually chose to retreat again and again. So much so that in the end, he was forced to a mining area in the furthest corner, and finally no one came to disturb him. This was the most rundown mining area in the entire 7th mining area. Not only was the jade production rate far lower than other mining areas, but it also seemed that no one had mined here for a long time. What exactly did this unlucky newbie do? He was actually bullied by a group of trash who failed to reach the Foundation establishment stage, and he didn't even dare to fart. Isn't he too weak? Hey! I heard that it was Meng Jueguang who called for it. This kid didn't even have eyes to offend a person like Meng Jueguang. He really deserved to be unlucky. The mining area he found hasn't been used for a few years, right? Can he still dig out jade? Who cares if he can dig out jade or not? Anyway, it has nothing to do with us. That mining area is so remote, I even find it difficult to turn around and take a look. It's good that he can't dig out jade, we don't have to go back and forth. The group of guards looked at this scene and sighed. Every one of them looked like they were watching a good show, but they didn't have the slightest intention of interfering. They were assigned to guard the mining area, and they were bored to death every day, so they liked to watch this kind of harmless show. Of course, if the scale went too far, such as not even leaving the last mining area for Lin Yi, or if someone directly made a move, then they would have to step in. After discussing for a while, the group of guards quickly shifted their attention away from Lin Yi. Because the mining area was so remote, even the guard closest to Lin Yi was at least 40 to 50 steps away from Lin Yi. Lin Yi wouldn't be able to notice any small movements, which was exactly what Lin Yi wanted. In this way, there would be no problem at all if he continued to operate like he did in the 10th mining area. While digging for jade, he smoothly replaced the pillar with the beam when the guards weren't paying attention. Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh secretly. Although Meng Juiguang was his enemy, when he recalled everything that had happened before, this guy was simply a benefactor in his life. Not only did he give me the cave abode, the spiritual jade, and the mining area, he even helped me when I encountered a little problem. If this was in the secular world, I should really give this guy a few good guy cards. Lin Yi was in a good mood because everything was going smoothly, but Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong, who were rooted in the 10th mining area, were not in such a good mood. Not only were they not happy, but they were actually extremely bad. In the same mining area, the same mining spot, Meng Juiguang also personally went to work. However, after he and Meng Tong worked for a whole day, the result was the same as yesterday, nothing. They did dig out a few pieces of waste jade, but there was still no good jade. Chapter 36:17. Damn it! Why isn't there a single piece of good jade? Is it really like what that brat said? Is he the only one who can dig out good jade in this dead mining area? This is too strange. Meng Juiguang couldn't help but cry out. After 2 days without any results, even with Meng Juiguang's shrewdness, he finally began to lose his cool. Ninth cousin, is it possible that there is no good jade in this dead mining area at all? That brat Lin Yi was just lucky enough to dig out a few pieces, and all the good jade in this mining area has been dug out by him. Meng Tong was dejected, scratching his head and muttering. Your words have enlightened me. If there is really good jade in this mining area, then it is impossible that he is the only one who can find it and we can't. Meng Juiguang nodded thoughtfully and said, we have been busy for 2 days without any results. Maybe there really is no good jade left here. This mining area is not the kind of high-quality mining area that we previously speculated. There are only a few pieces of good jade here, and that brat Lin Yi has picked them up. Then, what should we do? Are we still going to dig tomorrow? Meng Tong looked at Meng Juiguang eagerly. He had worked hard for 2 days in a row, but not even a single piece of good jade had entered his account. He was about to go crazy. Meng Juiguang was a senior steward, so he might not care about this small reward, but he, Meng Tong, was just a newcomer. Instead of wasting his time here, it was better to return to mine number 7 as soon as possible. Even if he could earn half a piece of spirit jade as a reward, it would still be a good thing. Meng Juiguang shook his head and said, but what if this is really a high-quality mining area? We just happened to hit a relatively thick fault. Maybe we can dig out good jade tomorrow. If we give up so easily, wouldn't it be a big loss? Worried about the gains and losses, Meng Juiguang had subconsciously fallen into a very typical gambler's mentality. He was definitely not willing to continue wasting his time here, but he was also not willing to give up just like that. He was afraid that he would lose the opportunity to obtain such good quality spiritual jade so close to him. But what if there is no good jade? Meng Tong cried with a bitter face. Of course, he also hoped to dig out good jade, but if he continued to waste time without any results, he was the one who would suffer a loss. When Meng Jueguang threw Lin Yi to the 10th mining area, didn't he want to waste time here? Now, Lin Yi was swapped to the 7th mining area, while Meng Tong, the loyal little brother, was thrown to the dead mining area to suffer. If only we could find out if there is good jade here. Meng Tong could not help muttering. He really did not want to continue wasting time here. His words made Meng Jueguang have a flash of inspiration. He patted his head and said, "Yes. We can find the exploration experts of Lingyu Hall to take a look. Whether there is good jade in this dead mining area, we can find out by letting them explore again. It's really good to look." Meng Tong was stunned, and then looked at Meng Jueguang with a strange face and said, "Ninth cousin, why didn't you say so earlier? Didn't you work hard these 2 days in vain?" That was then and this is now. What do you know?" Meng Jueguang could not help but reprimand him with a red face. In fact, it was not that he did not think of this move. The main thing was that he thought that after discovering a good quality mine, he could make a fortune by himself. If he hired the exploration experts of Lingyu Hall, once they really found a good quality mine, even if he did not report it, he would at least have a share of the profits. This was obviously not in line with Meng Jueguang's interests. It was just that after working hard for 2 days, they could not even dig up a piece of good jade. When it was difficult to get down, it was not a bad idea to find the exploration experts. Even if they had to share some of the profits with the other party, it was better than the two of them continuing to work blindly like headless flies. After making up his mind, Meng Jueguang immediately left the mining area. These years, due to the network of connections he had built up, he knew one of the exploration experts of Lingyu Hall. But the other party was also a steward-level figure of Lingyu Hall. He was not someone that Meng Jueguang could order to come and go at his beck and call. He planned to first make friends with the other party overnight, so that he could ask the other party to come and help tomorrow. As for Meng Tong, he was sent away by Meng Jueguang to hand over the work with a sullen face. Digging up a pile of waste jade, but not even a piece of good jade. It was enough that Lin Yi bumped into such a shameful thing yesterday. If it happened again, where would he, Meng Jueguang, the steward, put his old face? But what made Meng Tong happy was that, under his deliberate dawdling and the fact that the 10th mining area was very far away, by the time he handed over the work, almost all the people in the mining area had left. Lin Yi would not be so bored as to specifically wait here to see him make a fool of himself. So he escaped the disaster. Early the next morning, Meng Jueguang could not wait to invite the exploration expert he found to the 10th dead mining area. Along the way, the exploration expert could not help but ask curiously, "Old Meng, I am puzzled. What is there to explore in a dead mining area like the 10th mining area where even birds don't shit? Isn't it a waste of time to ask me to come?" "Senior brother Ma, I originally thought so, but a few days ago, there was a newcomer in our Blue Cloud Pavilion who dug out 8 or 10 pieces of good jade in 2 consecutive days. So I felt that there might be something fishy here," Meng Jueguang explained. The exploration expert called Senior Brother Ma had a distracted look at first, but when he heard this, he was immediately stunned. He dug out so much good jade in 2 consecutive days. Could it be that he accidentally stumbled upon a high-quality ore spot? Senior Brother Ma is indeed an expert. You hit the nail on the head. I think so too, so I specially asked Senior Brother Ma to make a trip. Meng Jueguang nodded. As the two talked, they arrived at the 10th mining area. After listening to Meng Jueguang's words, Senior Brother Ma no longer perfunctorily and began to explore seriously. After all, for an exploration expert like him, if he could find good jade in the 10th mining area and report it to Spirit Jade Hall, it would be a real great contribution. Under Meng Juiguang's expectant face, Senior Brother Ma busied himself for a while and soon came up with a result. With a sullen face, he said, "There is no such high-quality mining area, old Meng. It is similar to the results of the previous regular exploration. The proportion of spiritual jade in the 10th mining area does not exceed 10%, and the concentration of spiritual qi is far from enough. In other words, even if there is 10% of spiritual jade, it is basically waste jade with thin spiritual qi. It is unlikely that there will be any good jade." Chapter 36:18. You don't believe me. Senior Brother Ma's face was not good, but due to his friendship with Meng Juiguang in the past, he still patiently explored the mining site alone, and then slightly surprised. "What? Did you find a good jade?" Meng Juiguang asked hurriedly, and Meng Tong, who was behind him, also looked expectant. The proportion of spiritual jades in this mining site is a little more than other places. It should be about 15%, and the concentration of spiritual qi is also a lot higher. Senior Brother Ma pondered for a moment, then shook his head and said, "But it is still far below the average level. Even if good jade can be found in this place, it is at most 30 or 40 pieces, there is not much value at all." "Only 30 or 40 pieces?" The face of Meng Juiguang, who was full of expectations, suddenly collapsed. This was completely different from the high-quality mining site he had expected. "Yes, this is still an optimistic estimate. In fact, if we want to dig out these 30 or 40 pieces of good jade, we don't know how much effort it will take. It will take at least 2 or 3 months." Senior Brother Ma said resolutely. "Damn, so I really shot myself in the foot, and have been busy for 2 days in vain." Meng Juiguang whispered to himself, but he did not have the slightest doubt about Senior Brother Ma's judgment. After all, the other party was an exploration expert specially supported by Lingyu Hall, and he had the absolute right to speak in this regard. Since he had come to a conclusion, then it would certainly not be wrong. "I say, old Meng, you are also the #1 figure in the Welcome Pavilion, it is better to be a little more steady. Next time, don't pull me over because of some newbie who got lucky once, it is simply a waste of time." Senior Brother Ma complained a few words of dissatisfaction, and Meng Juiguang had to nod again and again, respectfully sending off the exploration expert. After sending off Senior Brother Ma, in the #10 mining area, there were only Meng Juiguang, Meng Tong, and the 2 board guards in the distance. "Ninth cousin, what should we do now? There is no need to waste time here, right?" Meng Tong asked. According to Senior Brother Ma, although there were still 30 to 40 pieces of good jade in the mine, it would take at least 2 to 3 months of hard work to dig them out. On average, it was less than 1 piece a day. It was completely incomparable to the 7th mine. Meng Juiguang nodded dejectedly. "Indeed, there's no need to waste any more time. This mining area #10 is really a trap. I must have been blinded by greed for a moment to be bewitched by this evil fellow, Lin Yi. It's a waste of energy to come here. Instead, he's been able to comfortably mine in mine #7 for 2 days." Although Meng Juiguang had specifically informed the people in mining area #7 to pressure Lin Yi, it did not change the fact that Lin Yi was staying in mining area #7. Even if it was the most worthless mine in mining area #7, it was still far better than the desolate mining area #10. Thinking that Lin Yi was now comfortably staying in mining area #7, Meng Tong gnashed his teeth in hatred. Meng Tong gritted his teeth in anger. That was his territory, and now it was taken over by this bastard. "Cousin Joe, let's kick that bastard Lin Yi back. Let's just let him suffocate in mine #10. Meng Tong gritted his teeth and said, "Cousin Joe, let's kick Lin Yi back." Indeed, we must quickly find a way to kick this fellow back. Otherwise, it will be too easy for him. Meng Jueguang nodded reluctantly. Then, he felt a little awkward. But how to make him agree to exchange? This is another problem. This fellow has tasted the sweetness in mining area number 7. He certainly doesn't want to come back to this desolate mining area number 10. Even if Meng Jueguang had a deep network in Spirit Jade Hall, the rules of Spirit Jade Hall were still there. If someone wanted to exchange a mining area, they must sign the contract in person. Just like when he asked Lin Yi to exchange to mining area number 7, he tried every possible way to entice Lin Yi to sign the contract on the spot. Now, he wanted to exchange Lin Yi back. He had to find a way to make Lin Yi sign the contract. Otherwise, if Lin Yi did not agree, even if Meng Jueguang found Dai Wuchang to complete the formalities, it would be useless. After all, the other party was not the kind of previous newcomer who failed to build his foundation and had no human rights. Under the premise that there was no special reason, even if it was Meng Jueguang, the big senior brother in charge, there was no way to force Lin Yi on this matter. Meng Tong frowned and thought for a moment. Ninth cousin, why don't we give him another 25 pieces of waste jade? You're an idiot. Meng Jueguang did not know whether to laugh or cry. Why did he have such an idiot cousin? He rolled his eyes and scolded, "Do you think Lin Yi is as stupid as you? Is it not enough that he was tricked once before? Will he be tricked again now?" Hearing Meng Jueguang's words, Meng Tong suddenly felt that he was a bit stupid. He could only say weakly, "Then what should we do? If Lin Yi doesn't agree, then won't he stay in mining area number 7 and not be able to drive him away? It's easy to invite the devil in but hard to send him away." Meng Jueguang scratched his head helplessly. 2 days ago, when he was trying to lure Lin Yi to mining area number 7, he was full of expectations that he would be able to find high-quality ores in mining area number 10 and make a fortune. In the end, he did not expect that not only would he not find any good jade, but he had also wasted 2 days. Now, he did not know how to kick Lin Yi back. He had really lifted a rock and dropped it on his own feet. In fact, it was fine if he could not kick Lin Yi back to mining area number 10. As long as he let Meng Tong go back to mining area number 7, Meng Jueguang would not suffer any loss. It was nothing more than watching Lin Yi live comfortably in his heart. However, the problem now was that he had a very serious hidden worry. The most important reason why he was able to successfully exchange Lin Yi from mining area number 10 2 days ago was that Su Lingchong had nodded to young Master Su. Otherwise, no matter how good his relationship with Dai Wuchang was, Dai Wuchang would not dare to go against young Master Su's will. The reason why Su Lingchong had nodded back then was because he, Meng Jueguang, had solemnly promised Su Lingchong that he wouldn't let Su Lingchong off easily after finding out what was wrong with the 10th mine. As a result, not only did he not find out anything fishy about mining area number 10, but he was also stuck in mining area number 7 by Lin Yi. If this matter fell into young Master Su's ears, then Meng Jueguang would not be able to bear the consequences. Thinking of this, driving Lin Yi back to mining area number 10 was no longer a dispensable action to vent his anger, but a death mission that must be completed. Because this was not only a personal grudge of Meng Jueguang, but also related to young Master Su's face. Chapter 36:19. He couldn't think of a way himself, and as for Meng Tong, that brainless idiot, he naturally couldn't count on him. The two of them walked out of mine number 10 with frowns on their faces. Meng Jueguang was just about to find Dai Wuchang to exchange a contract for mine number 7 for Meng Tong when he unexpectedly saw 2 familiar figures at the door, Kong Ming and Zhong Pingliang. These 2 weren't only disciples of Soaring Pavilion, but they were also Su Lingchong's direct subordinates. They could be considered to be in the limelight among all the newcomers. Especially Kong Ming, under young Master Su's special care, he had almost locked onto the position of the newcomer deacon. According to Meng Juiguang's observation, this person was quite scheming. Recently, he had been running to Jade Spirit Hall very frequently, presumably also thinking about the spirit jades in the mine. Meng Juiguang suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Right, these two were also Lin Yi's sworn enemies, and there was a deep hatred in the secular world. If he could ask them to help him deal with Lin Yi, they should be more than willing. Perhaps they knew Lin Yi better, and might have some good ideas. Thinking of this, Meng Juiguang hurriedly stepped forward and greeted, "Junior Brother Kong, Junior Brother Zhong, I didn't expect to meet you two here, what a coincidence." "Yo, if it isn't Senior Brother Meng." Kong Mingming and Zhong Pingliang looked at each other and responded with a smile. Although the disciples of the Soaring Sky Pavilion naturally looked down on the people of the Clear Cloud Pavilion, Meng Juiguang was still the senior brother in charge of the Welcoming Pavilion, and his subordinate was also in charge of Lin Yi. Su Lingchong, the young master of the Su family, seemed to have some admiration for him, and so Kong Xiaoming wanted to make friends with him. As for Zhong Pingliang, he would follow whatever Kong Mingming did, determined not to fall behind. The few of them exchanged greetings, and Meng Juiguang immediately asked, "Junior brothers, are you preparing to go to the mines?" "Not bad, newbies like us aren't as free as you, Senior Brother Meng. Other than digging for spirit jades, there are no other good ways," Kong Mingming replied with a smile. "Heh, Junior Brother Kong, your words are too modest. Not only are you two disciples of the Soaring Sky Pavilion, but you are also young Master Su's most valued subordinates. Even if you go down to the mines, it will definitely be the first mining area. Digging up 30 or 40 pieces of good jade a day is an easy thing to do. Even a senior brother like me is somewhat envious of you. If you still call yourself a little newbie, then it will be a bit unreasonable." Meng Juiguang's words were just a compliment, but Meng Tong, who was next to him, couldn't hide the envy in his eyes as he looked at the two of them. What did it mean to dig up 30 or 40 pieces of good jade a day? This meant that a day's worth of work was equivalent to 5 days of work for him. They could get a spirit jade for 3 to 4 days. It was really infuriating. Not at all. After noticing Meng Tong's envious gaze, Kong Ming looked humble, but he was actually quite proud of himself. It could be seen that it was the right decision to cling onto Su Lingchong's thigh when they first teleported to this island. Otherwise, if they were sent to a place like Blue Cloud Pavilion, working hard for a day and only getting 5 to 6 pieces of jade, that would be really miserable. Of course, if they were targeted like Lin Yi, it would be even more miserable. But if Kong Mingming knew that he, a keen newbie in Mine 1, could only earn 1 piece of spirit jade after working hard for 3 to 4 days. And Lin Yi could steal at least 2 pieces of spirit jade any day, with almost no risk at all. Would he be jealous to death? Of course, according to Kong Mingming's natural disposition of liking to take shortcuts. Although his current excellent environment was already enviable, he himself would not be satisfied with honestly digging for jade. Therefore, a few days ago, he dragged Su Lingchong around to build up his network so that he could find an opportunity to fill his pockets after building up his network. This was in line with his nature. It was just that Spirit Jade Hall's supervision was strict. Even if he clung onto Su Lingchong, this thick thigh, it would not be easy for Kong Mingming to achieve this step. One must know that even Meng Juiguang, this senior with deep qualifications, did not dare to rashly lay hands on good jade with his current network. He could only wait for the opportunity to embezzle some scrap jade. Apart from being able to exchange these scrap jade for some meager remuneration, even if he managed to find a way to bring it out, it could at most be used to cheat others like how he cheated Lin Yi 2 days ago. Apart from that, there was not much use for it. Senior Apprentice Brother Meng, 2 days ago you told young Master Su that you wanted to investigate the fishy matter of Lin Yi digging up good jade in the 10th dead mining area. I wonder if there's any progress. Kong Mingming turned around and asked. Although digging up 8 or 10 pieces of good jade a day was already pretty miserable in his eyes, if he could make Lin Yi unable to dig up a single piece of good jade, wouldn't that be even more satisfying? Meng Juiguang was secretly delighted in his heart. He was just waiting for the other party to say this. Immediately, he let out a long sigh and said, "Sigh, don't mention it. Both junior apprentice brothers also know that I kicked this Lin Yi to the 10th dead mining area which birds don't even shit on, in order to vent the anger of young Master Su and my 2 junior apprentice brothers. In the end, I didn't expect him to dig up good jade in 2 consecutive days. Isn't this going against our original intention of punishing him? Not to mention anything else, just based on the grudge between him and my 2 junior apprentice brothers, we can't let him go on like this." Although they knew that this guy was deliberately trying to make himself look good, Kong Mingming and Meng Juiguang still nodded. Then, they listened to Meng Juiguang continue. "So I set up a trap and tricked him to come to the 7th mining area, wanting to investigate the fishy matter in the 10th mining area. In the end, I invited the exploration experts of Lingyu Hall to take a look and found out that there's no good jade in the 10th mining area at all. There's nothing fishy about it either. He was purely lucky 2 days ago. If we let him stay there any longer, no matter how lucky he is, he definitely won't be able to dig up any good jade. Isn't that just right? Just kick him back to the 10th mining area, right? Don't you think so, junior apprentice brother Zhong?" Kong Mingming's eyes couldn't help but light up. He was holding back his strength to see Lin Yi suffer. If he could make Lin Yi unable to dig up any good jade for a few months, that would be perfect. Zhong Pingliang, who was standing at the side, nodded slightly but didn't say anything. He was Lin Yi's spy. At a time like this, he naturally couldn't speak carelessly. Otherwise, one word could help Lin Yi, but it could also make things worse. "Sigh, I originally had the same idea as my 2 junior apprentice brothers." Meng Juiguang smiled bitterly. "But the problem is, if we don't think of a way to make Lin Yi sign the contract himself, we can't do anything if he insists on staying in the 7th mining area and refuses to leave." Chapter 36:20. Meng Juiguang proudly replied, "That's because I found an excuse to give him 25 pieces of useless jade in exchange for the only small spiritual jade that still had spiritual qi in his possession." Useless jade. What does this guy need useless jade for? How could he trade a good jade full of energy for useless jade? It's not like you can eat it. Did a donkey kick him in the head? Kong Mingming couldn't help but wonder. Even Zhong Pingliang was a little stunned. The spiritual energy inside the Jade Wastelands was too thin, it was far from being comparable to the cultivation dwelling allocated to the new disciples in the welcoming pavilion. Even if it was a waste disciple from the Clear Cloud Pavilion, they wouldn't be interested in the spiritual energy inside the Jade Wastelands. Meng Juiguang smiled proudly. "Heh, don't be surprised, brothers. When I gave him the spiritual jade, he didn't know that it was useless jade. He thought that the 25 pieces were good jade. One small spiritual jade for 25 good jades. This big pie fell from the sky and knocked him out. I tricked him into signing the contract on the spot. Even if he found out that it was useless jade, he couldn't go back on his word." "I see. So Lin Yi was tricked by Senior Meng." Kong Xiaoming understood the situation and chuckled. He was happy to see Lin Yi being humiliated like this. But Zhong Pingliang didn't think so. Among everyone present, he was the first to know Lin Yi and understood him the best. As far as he was concerned, Boss Lin Yi's miraculous abilities had been proven time and time again in the common world. He wasn't the kind of guy who would be tricked easily. It was already good enough that he didn't trick others, but how could others trick him? He, Zhong Pingliang, was suffering from the pain of shooting himself in the foot. Even his kidneys were gone. As a result, being tricked into exchanging good jade for useless jade wasn't something that would happen to Lin Yi. Unless he wanted the jade and was willing to be tricked. He didn't know what Lin Yi wanted the jade for, but he had a feeling that it would be of great use to his boss Lin Yi. Meng Juiguang and the others thought that they tricked boss Lin Yi, but they might have fallen into Lin Yi's trap. They laughed happily for a while. Kong Mingming continued, "Then how do we kick Lin Yi back to my number 10? Do you have any ideas, Senior Meng? We can't just let him roam around my number 7 forever, can we? I'm also having a headache over this problem." Meng Tong just said that he would use another 25 pieces of jade to trick Lin Yi back. I told you that Lin Yi isn't an idiot, he wouldn't fall for it again. You two are smart people, what do you think? Meng Juiguang looked at Kong Mingming and Zhong Pingliang. Indeed, it's only been 2 days and he wants to trick Lin Yi again. Does he think Lin Yi is an idiot, or does he think he's an idiot? Kong Mingming sneered as he glanced at Meng Tong. The disdain in his eyes was self-evident. On the other hand, Meng Tong's face flushed red from his words. Zhong Pingliang suddenly interrupted, "I actually think that Meng Tong's suggestion might work." "Oh. Why do you say that, Junior Zhong?" Meng Juiguang and Kong Mingming asked at the same time. Meng Tong, on the other hand, looked at Zhong Pingliang gratefully, thanking him for helping him out. "Wow, this Senior Zhong is so nice. I need to get closer to him in the future and discuss things with him." Zhong Pingliang was different from Meng Tong. Like Kong Mingming, he was recruited by Su Lingchong personally. He wasn't an idiot either. If the same words came out of Meng Tong's mouth, people would only laugh at him. But if it came out of Zhong Pingliang's mouth, Meng Juiguang and Kong Mingming would have to think about it carefully. What the two senior brothers said is true. With Lin Yi's shrewdness, he wouldn't fall for the same trick 2 days later, Zhong Pingliang analyzed. But that's on the premise that he'd already realized that he'd been tricked. What if he still hasn't realized that the 25 pieces of jade senior brother Meng gave him were useless? Is that possible? Meng Juiguang and Kong Mingming looked at each other. Zhong Pingliang's words made sense. If Lin Yi still hadn't realized that the spirit jade was useless, then he could do it again. There was a chance of success. Pinliang saw that the two were still hesitating, so he continued. According to what Meng's senior brother said, it's only been 2 days since Lin Yi took the 25 jade pieces, and he's been mining in the mines for the past 2 days, so he hasn't had much time to use the spirit jades. If he doesn't use them, then he wouldn't have realized that they're all useless jades. From what I see, it's very likely that he didn't notice them. But even if he's mining in the day, he'll still need the spirit jade when he goes back to train at night, right? Meng Juiguang thought that Zhong Pingliang's words made sense, but he was still confused. Zhong Pingliang shook his head. "I don't dare to boast about others, but I dare say that I don't know Lin Yi as well as the other senior brothers. This guy looks normal on the outside, but he's actually very arrogant. He thinks that he's a genius that only appears once in 10,000 years, so he's used to playing tricks when he's in the common world. He's never trained as hard as we do, so I'm willing to bet that he hasn't been training seriously these 2 days, so he doesn't need the spirit jade." Kong Xiaoming nodded from the side. "I agree with what Junior Zhong said. Senior brother Meng, you might not know this, but Lin Yi is actually an alchemist in the common world. His current strength is basically increased by elixirs. People like him who are used to elixirs wouldn't bother with daily training. I think it's very likely that he's trying to save up spirit jades to buy elixirs. As for training, someone like him who's addicted to pills probably doesn't even know how to use spirit jade to train, right?" Ha ha ha. The others burst into laughter. Seeing Meng Juiguang's convinced expression, Zhong Pingliang was secretly happy. He was sure that boss Lin Yi needed the useless jade, so he purposely led these people to give Lin Yi jade again. If it was only him, Meng Juiguang would still be a little skeptical, but he didn't think that even Kong Mingming would help him. Now, Meng Juiguang had no choice but to believe it. Chapter 36-21. You're right. Meng Juiguang recalled. It was indeed like this. He couldn't help but nod. Meng Shixiang and Meng Tong Shixiang should have seen Lin Yi these past 2 days, right? Did he get angry after he realized he was tricked? Pin Liang continued to strike while the iron was hot. He was willing to bet that even if Boss Lin Yi realized that the 25 pieces were all useless jade, he wouldn't show it on his face. Meng Juiguang paused and recalled carefully with Meng Tong. They both said excitedly, yeah. I didn't see him yesterday, but I did see him the day before yesterday. It was just like what Brother Zhong said. The kid behaved normally, as if he didn't realize those were all useless jade. That's it. So we can follow Meng Tong Shixiang's suggestion and prepare a pile of useless jade and send it to him. Pin Liang laughed. Meng Juiguang was about to nod, but then he hesitated and said, but what if he has already found out that it is a waste jade? After all, what we said was just speculation. That kid has always been good at acting. Maybe he's just swallowing his pride and acting normally these past 2 days. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a waste to give him the useless jade? This guy wasn't easy to fool. Pin Liang curled his lips and thought about it. That's easy. Let Meng Tong Shixiang find a chance to get information from him. Won't he know after a little testing? But then again, it's just a pile of useless jade. Even if it doesn't work, you won't lose much, Meng Shixiang. You're right, Brother Zhong. Meng Juiguang nodded. The other party was giving him advice. If he still didn't nod, it would be a little embarrassing. It made it seem like he couldn't afford the useless jade in front of Kong Mingming and Pin Liang. He didn't want to lose face. And to be honest, Pin Liang's suggestion sounded very reliable. It was worth a try. After the discussion, Meng Juiguang arranged for Meng Tong to find Lin Yi. Meng Tong was going back to mine number 7 anyway. It was on the way. When he arrived at mine number 7, Meng Tong saw Li Jingming working in the middle of the mine. He couldn't help but feel angry. Meng Juiguang had purposely left this mining spot for him. Now that he had wasted 2 days of effort in dead mine number 10, Li Jingming, this scheming brat, had taken advantage of him. Of course he was unhappy. Although Meng Juiguang hinted to Li Jingming to put pressure on Lin Yi, but Meng Tong automatically ignored it. Besides, when he framed Lin Yi last time, Li Jingming slandered him for hiding spirit jade and even searched him. He was rebelling. Although he couldn't do anything because of Meng Juiguang, he still remembered it. Meng Tong was a very arrogant and selfish person. So as far as he was concerned, Li Jingming had ill intentions, and he had the intention to replace him. He felt that although Li Jingming followed Meng Juiguang, the best resources would still be given to Meng Tong first. The rest of the resources would go to him. If he could find a chance to replace Meng Tong, the benefits would be obvious. Just you wait, I'll deal with you. Meng Tong spat angrily. He then looked around for Lin Yi. After all, his current task was to find Lin Yi and get some words out of him. He was still clear about his priorities. When he found Lin Yi, Meng Tong's bad mood was immediately swept away. He couldn't help but gloat. Lin Yi's mine was located in the most remote corner. It was the kind that no one had ever paid attention to before. There were a few empty mines on the side. According to past experience, the jade production rate was better than Lin Yi's mine. However, Lin Yi didn't have any intention of moving out. In fact, if he wanted to move out, someone would immediately rush over to snatch his mine until he gave up. This was Meng Jueguang's order. Lin Yi could only stay in the worst mine in the entire mining area number 7 to mine. However, Lin Yi didn't care about this at all. He didn't need others to go through much trouble. He just settled down in the most remote and worst mine. He had the attitude of Liu Bianren, who was happy to live a poor life. In fact, even if others wanted him to come out, he himself didn't want to come out. In this most remote mine, he could completely avoid the sight of the guards. How great was that? Pretentious newbie, are you busy? Meng Tong gloated for a while and then walked towards Lin Yi. If it was someone else who came to the mining area and didn't work hard, they would definitely be severely punished by the guards. However, Meng Tong was specially taken care of by Meng Jueguang. Therefore, the guards turned a blind eye to this. If you have something to say it quickly. Don't disturb me. Lin Yi was about to put a piece of waste jade into the space of the jade pendant. Seeing Meng Tong walking over, he had to stop halfway. He was obviously driven to the worst mine, but he still had a temper. However, it was normal for him to have a temper. Who didn't have a temper here? Meng Tong couldn't help but curl his lips. He organized his words and said, nothing much. I just wanted to ask you. Cousin Jiu gave you so many spiritual jades 2 days ago. Did you use them? Are you testing me to see if I found any waste jade or not? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He pretended to be cautious and said, no, they are still there. Why, do you want to go back on your word? Do you want to take them back from me? Let me tell you, I won't go back to mining area number 10. Don't expect me to return these spiritual jades to you. Hey! Why are you so excited? We don't want to take them back. We are just casually asking. Meng Tong made up his mind. After coming to a conclusion, he immediately ignored Lin Yi and turned to leave. Looking at this guy's rash back, Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh. Meng Jueguang actually sent this guy with a screw loose to find excuses from him. He really didn't know whether to say that Meng Jueguang was careless or that he had a hole in his brain. This was all thanks to his cooperation. Otherwise, if it was someone else, just based on Meng Tong's rash words, even if they didn't have any suspicions before, they would have become suspicious now. However, why did Meng Jueguang send this guy to test me? Lin Yi fell into deep thought. After a while, he shook his head with a playful expression. Could it be that these two people found out that they couldn't dig up any good jade in mining area number 10? So, they are thinking of some way to kick me back. Lin Yi's guess was soon confirmed. When he returned to his cave residence after work, he saw Meng Jueguang and Meng Tong waiting for him. Chapter 36-22. Junior brother Lin Yi, I plan to transfer you back to the number 10 mining area. Please sign this mining area contract. Meng Jueguang went straight to the point. Why should I? Lin Yi glanced at him, a smile that wasn't quite a smile on his face. I'm having a good time in the 7th mining area, and I can get good jade with no effort at all. Why would I go back to a dead mining area like that? Do I look sick to you, senior brother Meng? Or are you sick to your stomach? I knew you wouldn't want to, but it's okay. I will make you agree. Meng Jueguang signaled Meng Tong to put the bag of spiritual jades on the stone table and said, in 3 months, you can only earn 6 or 7 pieces of spiritual jades at most in the number 7 mining area. But if you agree to change mining areas, I can give you 10 pieces right now. What do you think? 10 pieces of spiritual jades. It's just to get me back to the number 10 mining area. Do you think it's worth it to pay such a high price, senior brother Meng? Lin Yi suddenly laughed, then pretended to be suspicious and said, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Senior brother Meng, Are you guys digging a hole for me to jump into? Pfft. Junior brother Lin Yi, you can't overestimate yourself. Do you think it's worth it to pay such a high price to dig a hole for you? Meng Jueguang sneered disdainfully and explained after a pause, to tell you the truth, young Master Su found out that I transferred you to the number 7 mining area. Young Master Su is very angry, so I can only think of a way to exchange you back. I have no other choice but to pay such a price. Now you have no more doubts, right? Ha, he obviously wants to use a few pieces of useless jade to trick me back to the dead mining area. This guy really knows how to make a good lie. However, although he clearly saw through the other party's little trick, Lin Yi was very willing to cooperate. Since the other party was in a hurry to give him spiritual jades, how could he refuse? Super good people like Meng Jueguang and Meng Tong were very rare in this world. Lin Yi was really happy to meet them as soon as he arrived at Heaven Island. Alright then. Since Senior Meng has put it this way, it would be inappropriate for me to refuse. However, Senior Meng, don't you think that 10 pieces of spirit jades is a little too little? Lin Yi pretended to be in a difficult position and kept Meng Jueguang in suspense. 10 yuan is already a lot. Meng Jueguang said, pretending to be in deep thought. Fuck, you're raising the price again. When Meng Tong saw that Lin Yi had taken the bait, he was actually secretly pleased. As for wasting a few more pieces of waste jade, it was not a problem at all in his eyes. However, on the surface, he deliberately cooperated with Meng Jueguang. He pretended to be very dissatisfied and said, 10 pieces of spirit jades is already a lot, far more than your mining reward, okay? Don't push your luck. I can't go any higher, this is already a sky-high price. These two guys are quite into it. Lin Yi laughed in his heart, but on the surface, he put on a straight face and pretended to be angry and said, Senior Meng, you have to speak with a conscience. You just asked me to change mine 2 days ago, and today you want me to change mine back. From the beginning to the end, it was you who tormented me, your junior, and I didn't even have a word of complaint. Since Senior Meng feels that you are at a disadvantage. Alright then, I won't change mine anymore, okay? Seeing that Lin Yi wanted to leave, Meng Jueguang hurriedly stopped him and said, Junior Meng Lin Yi, don't be in such a hurry. I didn't say that it can't go higher than 10 pieces of spirit jades, right? That's what Meng Tong said. That's it. I'll give you 2 more pieces, 12 pieces of spirit jades. 12 pieces. Lin Yi looked at Meng Jueguang, raised his eyebrows and said, Senior Meng, 2 days ago you asked me to change my number 10 to my number 7, and even gave me 25 pieces of spirit jades. Now you're kicking me from my number 7 back to my number 10, don't you think this price is a little too shabby? How can that be the same? The 25 pieces of spirit jades from before were to exchange for your little spirit jade, not to let you change mine. Meng Jueguang paused for a moment and seemed to have made a big decision. But considering that Junior Meng Lin Yi is a newcomer, it's really not easy for you to be assigned to my number 10. How about this, I'll take a step back and give you 15 pieces of spirit jades. 30 pieces. If you're short even 1 piece, don't come looking for me again. Lin Yi said resolutely. If this was a normal transaction, the other party would have fallen out with him long ago. However, he knew what Meng Jueguang was thinking. In order to get him to take the bait, Meng Jueguang would definitely not be stingy with these 10 pieces of useless spirit jades. At this time, if he didn't seize the opportunity to extort more spirit jades, it would be the end of the world. As expected, after Meng Jueguang's expression turned ugly for a while, he finally gritted his teeth and agreed, alright, in order to appease young Master Su's anger, I'll accept this loss. 25 pieces, that's the limit I can bear. Sign the contract for the mine. Alright. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. Without any delay, he signed the contract, counted the number of spirit jades, and turned to leave. In fact, although Lin Yi knew that it was useless spirit jades, he knew when to stop. One had to know that he was taking good spirit jades. If he insisted on a high amount, it would seem that the spirit jades were not valuable. After waiting for Lin Yi to leave, Meng Juiguang, who was deliberately suppressing his anger, changed his expression and sneered, "This kid is really good at bargaining. I reckon that he used to go to the market to buy vegetables in the secular world." His ability to haggle is top-notch. It's a pity that he's smart, but he doesn't have any great wisdom. To be able to fall into the same trap twice in a row. With this kind of IQ, he can still come to our heaven stage island. He's really a rare genius. Who asked him to meet our 9th cousin? In my opinion, it wouldn't be strange for him to fall into this trap a few more times. This kid can't do anything. He only has a bit of luck. Previously, he was actually able to dig out good spirit jades in the 10th dead mine. What the hell? But this time, after exchanging, I want to see if he can still dig out good spirit jades. Meng Tong said with a face full of expectation. That goes without saying. Just wait for a good show tomorrow. Meng Juiguang said with a face full of ridicule. Previously, the exploration experts had already sentenced the 10th mine to death. He was sure that even if Lin Yi's luck was heaven-defying, he wouldn't be able to dig out any good spirit jades when he returned to the 10th mine. Therefore, he couldn't wait to see Lin Yi's depressed and unlucky look. The next day, as soon as the handover bell rang, Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong excitedly gathered the newcomers of the Blue Cloud Pavilion and sat around the handover site to watch the show. The newcomers looked at each other. They didn't know much about what happened in the past few days, but with the intentional spread of information by Meng Tong and Li Jingming, they more or less knew the gist of it. Chapter 36-23. However, what the 3rd pavilion master could not do was easily accomplished by Meng Juiguang, the eldest senior brother in charge. With just a few words, he easily transferred Lin Yi to the coveted 7th mine. However, Lin Yi was really a good-for-nothing. Relying on the 3rd pavilion master's support, not only did he not repay senior brother Meng's kindness, but he also bad-mouthed senior brother Meng after arriving at the 7th mine. In less than 2 days, he had angered everyone. Meng Shiro, in a fit of rage, he'd kicked Lin Yi back to the 10th mine, and the reason he'd called everyone here was to witness Lin Yi's first day back in the mines. They'd like to see if this arrogant idiot could still be as lucky as he was before. The newcomers could reach the heaven stage and above, so they were naturally all smart people. Regardless of the credibility of the rumor, they at least knew that Lin Yi's exchange of minds in the past 2 days was true, and that it was indeed Meng Juiguang who was behind the scenes. This was enough for them to draw a very important conclusion. Meng Juiguang, the eldest senior brother in charge, had the ability to summon clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. Those who obeyed him would prosper, while those who defied him might not die, but they would definitely end up in a miserable state. Therefore, even if there were newcomers who were worried about being slapped in the face by Lin Yi, they still followed Meng Juiguang closely. Since senior brother Meng had asked them to watch Lin Yi, they would obediently watch. Anyway, they would not be the unlucky ones. After a while, under everyone's expectations, Lin Yi's figure finally appeared on the long 10th mine. Lin Yi was not surprised by the crowd's presence. He calmly weighed the jade as usual. Lin Yi, 16 pieces of waste jade, 20 pieces of junk jade. When the quality inspection results were announced, Meng Juiguang and the others could not help but grin mockingly. The crowd was in an uproar. Even the other newcomers looked at Lin Yi with schadenfreude. Infuriate people, laugh at people without. This was the innate bad nature of these people. Lin Yi looked at the crowd calmly. He didn't steal any hidden spiritual jade today, so he didn't charge the waste jade he dug up. After all, Meng Juiguang and Meng Tong had been busy in the number 10 mining area for 2 days, but they didn't find anything. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was able to dig up good jade as soon as he went back. This was a little strange. Therefore, in order to avoid suspicion, he decided to pretend for 2 days first. Moreover, he had other motives for doing so. Pretentious newbie, aren't you the legendary son of luck? Why isn't he lucky this time? Meng Tong hurriedly jumped out to mock him. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. He pretended to be surprised and said, "Oh, I understand. Don't tell me you didn't step on dog poop when you went out today." That's why you're so unlucky. How pitiful. Wahahaha. When the group of rookies heard this, they could not help but laugh even more wantonly. Meng Tong didn't seem like a smart person usually, but when his mouth started mocking people, he was quite good at it. In the end, Lin Yi did not fly into a rage out of humiliation like everyone imagined. Instead, he looked calmly at Meng Tong and said thoughtfully, "What you said reminds me. On the first day, I kicked you in the face, so my luck has been pretty good ever since. Could this be the dog poop luck you mentioned?" Ha! Meng Tong was immediately stunned as he said in confusion, "What the hell are you saying? What has kicking my face got to do with dog poop luck?" At this moment, some of the rookies reacted. Wasn't this equivalent to saying that Meng Tong's face was dog poop? However, they did not dare to laugh even though they wanted to. They were hindered by Meng Juiguang's tyranny. They could only forcefully hold back their laughter as their entire bodies twitched on the spot. Meng Juiguang stared at the crowd with a livid expression before cursing with a black face. "He is indirectly calling you dog poop. You can't even tell from this. What a fool. Ha ha. Senior brother Meng is wise. You hit the nail on the head. Brother Meng Tong, why don't you find a chance to let me kick you again? I still want to have a few more rounds of dog poop luck." Lin Yi looked sincerely at Meng Tong. "Holy shit. You are the fucking dog poop. You bastard, I'll fight it out with you." Meng Tong finally understood. Looking at those rookies who were covering their mouths and holding back their laughter, his face flushed red instantly. He rushed over in exasperation and was about to attack. Lin Yi looked at him quietly as he silently calculated in his heart. When the other party attacked him, he would immediately retaliate. This time, he would not let the other party have it as easy as last time. Even if he could not kill him directly, he would at least make him bedridden for a month, so that he would not continue to come to him and cause trouble in the future. But at the same time, Lin Yi also noticed that many guards around had already noticed the situation over here. Each of their eyes instantly revealed a frightening murderous aura, as if they would pounce over at the next moment. Private fights were strictly prohibited in Spirit Jade Hall. Those who violated it would die. This was the #1 dead rule in Spirit Jade Hall. These guards were at least experts in the early stage of Foundation establishment. Any one of them could instantly behead Meng Tong. And looking at their posture, if Meng Tong pounced over again, these guards would really kill him. Meng Juiguang's heart suddenly thumped when he saw this. Although his connections in Spirit Jade Hall were not bad, it was limited to the stewards in charge of various affairs. As for these guards, he did not have any relationship with them. It was not that he did not want to make friends with them, but he did not dare to. Because according to the rules of Spirit Jade Hall, all guards were strictly prohibited from contact with other people. Even these stewards in Spirit Jade Hall were not allowed. Once found out, it would be regarded as corruption and dereliction of duty. This was a serious crime that could cripple one's cultivation. So if these guards really made a move, he was afraid that he would not even have the chance to exonerate Meng Tong. Seeing this, he could only rush to stop Meng Tong before he started a private fight. Disgraceful thing, still not going to scram to the side for me. Meng Juiguang angrily reprimanded. It was obviously a great opportunity to see Lin Yi make a fool of himself. But in the end, it was tormented by this brainless fool, and instead scared himself into a cold sweat. He really could not accomplish anything but was good at spoiling things. Looking at the speed of Meng Juiguang's movement just now, Lin Yi's eyelids could not help but twitch. It seemed that this steward's senior brother's strength was indeed not weak. At least his cultivation was at the peak of the early stage of foundation establishment. Compared to the bitter senior brother, he was a notch stronger. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.